Yo, what's going on, guys? Cordy here, and welcome back to another Paragon video. In today's video, we're going to be revisiting the caster tier list. Since I made that last video about a month ago, the tier list, there's been some changes. There's been some nerfs, some buffs, some items got nerfed, so I wanted to revisit the tier list. Also, we have a new hero in Iggy and Scorch since that last video. This is my personal preference, so if you guys, some of you guys might be more comfortable on a certain hero that I put at a lower bottom, like a lower level. It's perfectly fine. Play whatever you're comfortable with. It's just kind of my personal take on the casters at the moment. Let's get straight into the tier list here. So with Faye was recently nerfed pretty hard. They did multiple nerfs on her. They nerfed her movement speed. They nerfed the slow. They nerfed the damage on her E ability. It's her main damaging ability. Another side nerf that happened to Faye is going to be the nerf to Teardrop. Teardrop was really powerful with Faye. Just because every ability she got off, she was proccing the Teardrop. Her abilities alone don't really do a lot of damage. Her only main damaging ability, aside from her ult, is going to be her E ability, just a flat burst damage. So her damage is definitely scaled down. Now, not saying she's a really bad hero, she's not as good as she was before. I think last video I might have had her in S tier. Now she's definitely, I would say, a solid A tier. She is kind of she's in a really great spot. She's not overbearing in lane. She doesn't do crazy amounts of damage. She has still a really good team fight ult. But she's not as strong as she was once before. All right, so moving on, that we got next is gonna be Wraith. Wraith is good. I know people they swear and die by Wraith. The only problem that I personally have with Wraith is he doesn't really have a great team fight ultimate. His ult's kind of useless. If you pop your ultimate, you're either gonna get warded, the enemy team will attack you, which will cancel out of your stealth, or you or your teammates will use an ability or fire, like shoot a basic attack, that'll put you out of stealth. So it's not really a good team fight ultimate like a Faye or like a Gideon who's next. They have really good team fight ults. Wraith doesn't have that. He has really good lane pressure, really good lane poke, I would say, not lane pressure, because he can lose lane, and really good save damage, and can peel one person, whoever's diving him. If two people are diving him, then one person's getting rewind, the other one's going to stay on top of him. He's good if you position really well, but again, late game he doesn't have amazing team fight presence, which is pretty rough. So for me personally, I'm going to put Wraith at B tier. I think he's kind of a solid mid. He just doesn't have that big team fight presence that other casters will have. All right, next up is going to be Gideon. Gideon is my favorite caster, I think, at the moment. He is really, really good. They had buffed his range on his abilities. They buffed his damage on his meteors. They gave him a buff to where if you ult and you get a kill, you get the cooldown on your teleport, and they reverted that. That was a really good buff. So I'm glad they reverted that, because they would have made him even stronger. But he does a lot of things well. He has great lane pressure. He has great clear. Out of the roster, he is the safest hero out of the caster roster to play in mid lane. So if you're new, definitely pick up Gideon. That way you can try not to die so much. And his ult's really good. Dash into the air, ult, keep everyone in combat. Your team is there helping you. Hopefully your team is there helping you. But you're keeping everyone there. They're doing damage. They can't move, so they're fighting in your ult. He's really, really good. Laning phase. He has great range with his two abilities, his right click and his Q. The combo just does pretty great flat damage. He wasn't really hindered by the Teardrop nerf, just because he just has straight flat damage. He doesn't have a lot of tick damage beside his ult. But he's a really great hero. He is going to be the S tier for me. I think he is definitely one of the best casters at the moment. He just does a lot of things well. Again, revisiting it, great clear, great pressure, safest hero, decent ultimate if you can get it correctly. It's just a really top tier hero for me. All right, next up is gonna be Gadget. Gadget's when Gadget first was released, she was really strong. Her bomb did a lot of damage. They definitely nerfed it. She's not as great as she used to be. She still has decent clear. Her ultimate's really great. People are definitely gonna, they don't want to fight in the ult because it's gonna be hitting pretty hard. The only negative thing about Gadget is she doesn't have a really great escape. If you're getting jumped on and you don't have your blink, your teleport, you're there, you have to fight in your ult. You have to drop your ult and fight. If you don't have your ult, or if your ult is not in a good spot, or if they wait till your ult wears off and then you fight, then you're kind of just like a sitting target. But she's still really solid. I mean, she has a better team fight ult than Wraith does. Wraith kind of doesn't have an ult. So she's still pretty solid, definitely not the best. I think right now, because of the nerfs, people don't give Gadget enough love. She still could do the caster thing. Not the best, definitely not the worst. I'm gonna put Gadget at B tier for me. I'm gonna put her, can I do this? Yeah, we'll put her above Wraith. She has a better presence than Wraith does. All right, next up is gonna be FaZe. FaZe is really tough. If you're a really good FaZe, you know how much damage FaZe can do. She has, out of all the casters here, she probably has the best burst, aside from like Belica if the enemy mid laner has no mana. She has insane burst. She does a lot of damage. If you link in, you pop your ult, your Q, you're blind, you're just, you know, that person's deleted. The really bad thing about FaZe is not a huge teamfight ult. The laning phase is really tough because you have to get in. You have to get in the wave to do your main damage ability to clear. So while you're doing that, you're getting poked. You're in the middle of the lane. You possibly get ganked. You don't have an escape. It just makes it really tough to get that laning phase going for FaZe. And then when it comes to late game, you're kind of a single target hero. You don't really do a lot of AoE damage. So for me, FaZe, we're gonna put FaZe at C tier. She is, my opinion, probably the worst of the casters. All right, next up is gonna be Howie. A lot of you guys are sleeping on Howie. Howie is really good. If you guys aren't playing Howie, I highly recommend it. He is a solid hero. They buffed his range on his missile. His missile hits hard already. They gave him more range, so now he can poke a little further. His missile hits hard. His right click, his slow, does decent damage. He has kind of a knockback. It's not the best appeals, but it'll help you to get, you know, better position. So he has a little bit of survivability there. And with his ultimate, if in the laning phase, if you're getting ganked, you could ult, get in the air, place where you want to land, so you can, you know, ult the ground and safely get to your tower. Around team fights, he has a really great zoning ultimate, a really great peel ultimate. If you're fighting around the objectives, as soon as the objective is getting low, pop your ultimate. Those people that are in there are going to take a lot of damage. Usually like the jungler and the solo laner, they're going to take a lot of damage. So either going to force them out, or it'll help you with killing and possibly getting a steal on that objective. He has a really great ultimate, and he is another hero that wasn't really bothered by the nerf to teardrop early game. His missile does a lot of damage, going just straight power and cooldown. Like Witch's Shoe is going to be really nice on him. He is really solid. I'm going to put him at, oh, this is kind of tough. I almost want to put him at S tier, but he's not as safe as Gideon. I'm going to put him at A tier, but I'm going to put him in front of Faye. He to me is probably better than Faye. Faye doesn't do nearly as much damage anymore, and Howie does do a lot of damage. Yeah, we're gonna put him at A tier. All right, next up is gonna be Belica. Belica's really rough. Belica has, I think in my last video, if I remember correctly, I put Belica probably like mediocre, a little bit high. She has great damage. She has a good knockup. She has a really great range bomb that does damage. Those two alone, it's kind of difficult. You have to hit your knockup to hit your bomb. So it's not always guaranteed that you can hit that. You know, whereas Gideon, it's a little bit more guaranteed. It's easier to hit those abilities. The Watcher's Eye or Commander's Eye, the one that, you know, drains your mana, they nerfed that a while back to where it only takes 4 hits, and they nerfed the range. It's a lot easier to kill if you have a bad placement in the lane. The minions are going to kill it pretty quickly with the range minions. It doesn't really do a lot. And one of the big things that I struggle with Belica when it comes to late game team fights, she has great knockup and great damage on her 2 abilities. But the ultimate scales with the less mana that the enemy team has, or hero has. When it comes to late game team fights, they don't last that long. Your fights are going to be in and out. People are going to die. They're not going on forever to where people are going to be really low mana. That's the problem with Belica. Her ult isn't really that useful. I've had a couple of games where I could not get a good ult because no one was low on mana. The only person that's really going to be low on mana is going to be the caster because they're spamming abilities in the back. The ranger is not going to have spamming abilities. They should be full mana. The tank is just being in front line. The supports, they might be low on mana because they're getting a lot of abilities, but it's just never really a good case for Belica to have a great ultimate. So with that, I'm going to be putting Belica in the C tier. Actually, I'm going to put her base is better. I kind of want to put her to B because I don't think, yeah, you know what? We're scratching that. We're putting it in B. She's definitely not on FaZe level. She's better than FaZe. Another bad thing that I mentioned about Belica, she doesn't have any escape. Your only peel is going to be your knockup. So if you're just in a bad spot, you're going to get, you know, you're going to die pretty much. Yeah, Bellica's right. But definitely would like to see the buffs, maybe a buff back to the Commander's Eye. I think before it used to be 6 hits and it had a longer range. I don't know why, for whatever reason, they nerfed it. Yeah, it's a lot harder to do anything with Bellica. All right, last, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure, you know, these are just casters. I know there's some like, you can do Shinbi mid. I definitely have played some Decker mid, which is really good and really fun. But we're just gonna stick strictly to the casters. You haven't tried Decker mid? Try it. It's really fun. It's really good. All right, last but certainly not least, Iggy and Scorch. When Iggy and Scorch came out, people were very confused on them. They're like, yo, this hero sucks. Other people were like, yo, this hero is really good. He needs to be nerfed. I'm on the part where the hero is really good. I played a lot of Iggy and Scorch. If I'm not having a mirror match, you should be winning lane 100% of the time. If you're going against Gideon, you know, Gideon's really great lane pressure, right? If you're going against Gideon, there's three targets that he has to hit. Either he's going to hit you, which your turrets and your minions are going to be doing more damage to the enemy minions. If he hits your turrets, you and your minions are going to be doing more damage to the minions. Or if he focuses on clearing the minions, you and your turrets are going to be doing damage to him and the minions. You're always going to be winning lane against a lot of these heroes. Maybe Faye has the most healing or most lane pressure that could compete, but once you get a couple items online, or I'm sorry, when you get a couple levels online, your turrets are going to be doing a little bit more damage. They're going to be more tankier. The abilities don't do enough damage to full clear a turret. They get 3 points to your turret. A Gideon combo, it probably won't one-shot the turret. So he's just wasting abilities trying to clear. So laning phase, you're guaranteed winning. If you're getting ganked, Iggy doesn't have mobility. So if you're getting ganked, hopefully you have your turrets out at that time, and you'll have your ults. If you are getting ganked, you have to stay in your ground. You could turn a 2v1. You know, if any mid laner is getting poked out, the jungler rotates, jumps on you. If they jump on you, you drop the oil canister on your feet, pop your ultimate, and they're dying. They're getting burnt and getting shot at. They're dying. Even with your auto attacks, he just melts. He does so much damage. You definitely gotta have good positioning. You don't want to be in a bad position, and you have to have your turrets up. But he just does so much damage when it comes to like laning phase. It's really hard to put any pressure. And then when it comes to late game team fights, your turrets last for 45 seconds, and they'll usually be like on a 6-second cooldown. So as you're running around, you know, going from objective to objective, the Spirit and Prime, you know, just drop your turrets, kind of get set up. If there's a little skirmish, drop your turrets, toss like your oil canister just to do some damage and maybe zone. His ultimate max level is 35 seconds, I believe, base. So that's not even including any cooldowns. If you're building some cooldowns, which you usually are with the casters, he just does, it's insane how much damage it does and how low of a cooldown it does. He is, since I've been playing Iggy, I have never lost lane, and I've won a lot of 2v1s when I've gotten ganked. If you're struggling with Iggy, it might be just positioning. You might need to have better positioning and better placements on the turrets, or have more turrets out. People might disagree, but I am putting Iggy at S tier. I think Gideon's better, just because Gideon's definitely more safe. Iggy is just so good. Not to mention that, you know, in the event that you need to like solo an objective, Iggy can solo objectives. He can easily solo the spirit buff. Puts out 3 turns, 4 turns. The turrets get aggroed, so you're not taking any damage. Only your turrets are gonna take damage. You'll be able to toss out more turrets by the time it dies. So you always have it replenishing. You have your ult going with crazy attack speed. You have your fire, your oil canister. He can solo objectives in like 5 seconds when it comes to late game. The spirit, it's insane. When it comes to prime buff, it's a little bit trickier because the prime can do like AoE damage. So you can definitely kill your turrets a lot quicker. But if you and someone else are like getting set up, you can melt it really quickly with, you know, your jungler and have them, you know, get the finishing secure. Iggy is just really good. If there's not another Iggy on the team, he is probably one of the best casters for sure. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for my tier list. Let me know what you guys think. If you disagree, if you agree, what placement that you have certain heroes at. what other kind of comments you'd like to add containing certain heroes. Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're really close to getting that partnership. So any sub, if you guys are watching, you like this content a lot through, you know, you watch all my other videos and you like this kind of content, definitely sub. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cordy. I go live 4 to 5 days a week. We've been doing a new schedule from like 2 Central to like 6 or 7 Central. So if you guys are up around that time playing games, so they come stop by, hang out. Maybe we'll do some viewer games. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list. All right, guys, everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.